Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is good to be back. I know. So many months of where I was totally silent, and I really have nothing to say besides there was some messed up things that just occurred. Anyways, let's get started. I'm just going to do a little rundown, and then after that, I'll do a video by video of some of the stuff that occurred. Well, some of the stuff that I'm talking about. First things first is Ultimate Spider-Man, the TV show. Ultimate Spider-Man, the TV show has actually ended. They have the brand new series happening right now. I'm covering that on Facebook. I'm not sure if I actually will do reviews on here as well, but I'm not sure. So anyways, we got two things. One is the ending. The ending, that was pretty interesting. The fact that they decided to just show how Spider-Man went from point A to point B at the very end. And it's just very creative what they have done. And it's just something that, even though the whole entire series was truly horrible until they got to season 3 and season 4 and I think season 5, the ending actually makes it pretty decent. It actually ended very, very decent. There was only some little teeny tiny cringy moments, but other than that, it was pretty good. They ended it very well. They even had Dr. Ock actually. There's just lots of things I have to tell. Of course, we do have to talk about MJ. MJ actually took the form of Ultimate Gwen Stacy from the comics, except they definitely took a spin on that. They decided to turn Mary Jane into... Did she even have... Let's just say not Ultimate. Let's just say Scarlet Spider-Girl or Scarlet Spider-Woman. So they finally have a girl who has a symbiote on her, and that's actually a current symbiote, and she takes after Ben Reilly / Kane's new outfit of Scarlet Spider. Now we have Spider-Man Homecoming. Spider-Man Homecoming. That was interesting. That was a very good movie. I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it. They just made a messed up tailspin where they decided to finally actually initiate what I actually was trying not to figure. So it turns out that this is the movie that forces everyone to actually be like, oh, so all this time from Iron Man all the way to Iron Man 3, that was 1 year. That was 2009. Then as for what's going on now, it actually is 2010. So it's actually just like them. It's just like the comics where they continue on year by year and everything. But in their scope, it actually might have been very, very slow. And 1 year might actually take a decade to get to. Yeah. That's just one thing that's kind of like messed up. There's lots more to talk about it, and I'll just talk about it later. Next is the thing that was truly great to hear, but truly awful to actually hear lots of people telling me what's going on. So we have Spider-Man 3 Editor's Cut. After 10 years, after me deciding to after finding out the horrible stuff that occurred, and 2011, I was just stoked. I was really stoked on Spider-Man 4. I was really stoked on it. I was trying to find lots of things and just enjoy it. But sadly, Spider-Man 4 was canceled. And eventually I got onto the whole thing of Spider-Man 3 was a sabotage film. And they were just destroying that movie so they could actually start their brand new franchise. So, Spider-Man 3 Editor's Cut. They've done a few things with it, but it's not actually as good as it could be. That's the messed up part. It's like, yeah, Spider-Man 3.1 would still be a better movie than Spider-Man 3 Editor's Cut. But in my personal opinion, the real Spider-Man 3, the Spider-Man 3 that would happen without Avi Arad's stupid idea of bringing Venom into this, I would like to see a real true Spider-Man 3, but sadly, since all the actors moved on, they're getting older, that means that technically we wouldn't be able to even get that actual movie. But I would really like to see Spider-Man 3 with Vulture, with Sandman, and whatever Raimi had planned for Harry Osborn, which I personally would think, and it makes perfect, it's a great idea that he wouldn't take his revenge in Spider-Man 3. All what would happen in Spider-Man 3 is that we get more little things, more hinted stuff at. Like, for instance, we'll still see Harry being very distant to Peter, and most likely we'll get some cutscene or some little scenes where we have Harry still working on what he's planning to do to Peter. And most likely in Spider-Man 4, that's when we get the unbelievable reveal of Harry Osborn's plan for revenge. Now let's talk about Spider-Man, the new TV show. The new TV show actually is pretty good. They actually decided to do what some people, no, not really some people say, but they're doing the opposite what they said about Amazing Spider-Man. They say that, oh, Spider-Man's a hipster. He's not a nerd no more. This one takes a big tailspin and shows that Spider-Man is a scientist at heart. And he actually used calculations and figures out what he needs to do to save people along with defeating the bad guy. I think it's great. It's very, very great. They even showed Black Cat recently, and very soon we're actually going to have Sandman's daughter having powers. So Penny gets powers, or it could be the thing that apparently what happened in DC, which is Clayface's piece of him actually got sentience and something like that. So maybe it could be that, but I'm not sure. We're just going to have to watch. Spider-Man, the video game. So sadly, like I said, Sony is being very, very selfish. So since Sony's being very selfish, they have Spider-Man all to themselves now. But the game looks very, very awesome. Sadly, I still got to whip up a PlayStation 4 to play it. But on the other hand, I think most likely this is just going to be what happened previously, where it's going to take some years for me to actually do it and have the game. But the game looks good. The game looks very promising. I'm not scared at all what happens to this video game. But there is something we should be a little bit hesitant about. And it's Sony. Sony is now doing Venom the movie, which at first I thought they actually did do a teaser trailer, but that was just some guy deciding to make a fan edit. And then we have another guy who spreaded it and made it seem like it actually is a teaser trailer. But yeah, joke's on us. He actually just asked one guy who created it so he can actually show it to everyone and it get noticed. But yeah, Venom's coming. Venom has a weird story going on. Maybe another video I'll talk about it. As for Silver and Black, where you have Black Cat and Silver Sable being a movie together, I don't know how that's going to go. I have no clue. The only thing I could say is they could, just like with Venom, what they could do is go back to previous franchises. So that means that for Venom, they could actually go to Sam Raimi's movies because, well, remember, Dr. Connors does still have a little piece of the symbiote. All they have to do is just fast forward to the point of where Spider-Man did go against the Lizard. The Lizard tried to use the symbiote. They stopped him from using the symbiote. They captured the symbiote. Now it's in federal forces, and the federal forces actually decide to use the symbiote for means of military. But of course, yes, they could go crazy and say means of military. So the first person to use it on is Eddie Brock. Eddie Brock goes nutso. Oh, wait a minute. They killed Eddie Brock. Oh my gosh, they killed him. Well, sadly, no, this only works for Flash Thompson. But if they want to have a Venom movie, they might as well have. As for Silver and Black, that could actually just go for the Amazing Spider-Man because they do have a Felicia Hardy just featured. So why not just bring her back and then just cast someone for Silver Sable and try to still play along in that universe? I don't know. As for Spider-Man comics, well, lots of things happened during my exit or my pause or hiatus. For Spider-Man comics, it looks pretty good. Miles Morales' life looks very, very nice, very awesome. They have good storytelling there. Amazing Spider-Man, it's interesting what's going on here. I still need to get some update of what's going on with Dr. Ock. Is Dr. Ock's, I think he might actually have a new body, but he doesn't have Peter Parker's body. And since this is the Dr. Ock that doesn't have the details of what happened with the end of Superior Spider-Man, it totally sucks. It really does. But still, it's a good one. The only messed up part that happened during my hiatus is the fact that they turned Ben Reilly into a bad guy. That was horrible. They turned him into a bad guy. Then he has his own comics, which no one really is actually even covering them. But it's I'd like that one comic I looked at where you have you're both Scarlet Spiders fighting, and Kane is like, I'm going to kill you. And of course, you sadly have this knight dude who has no idea what's going on, and he stops Kane and said, hey, we need to talk about this. You guys need to talk this out. You don't need to kill this guy. And it's like, no, you need to back off, man. I want to see it where this goes. Crazy enough that you even have Ben Reilly pointing a gun at Kane. That was crazy. That was really crazy. Or was it vice versa? Either way, it's really crazy. As for Power Rangers, I have to talk a little bit about Power Rangers. Power Rangers, I did do some reviews about it for Dino Charge, but I stopped. I don't know if I want to actually just conclude it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that I even want to do Ninja Steel. As for the movie was incredible. Few things that they changed that was kind of weird, but it was very incredible. Last but not least, we need to talk about Sabans. So Sabans have two other things in their corner. I'm not sure if they just gave them away and they're dead, or they still have them in their pocket, which I think they do. Sabans has Digimon, but they're not doing anything with Digimon. All they have is Digimon Fusion Season 2, and they bragged about on Vortex how they have so many episodes they could do. For some reason, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is not even on the board either. I don't know why. The decks are still coming out. They're still translating the decks and giving them to kids, but yet they don't have any story or a series to follow. That's pretty weird. And I'm not sure that Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal even ended. Not even sure if they ended it right. For all we know, this could actually just be another fiasco of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, where they ended it, but they didn't end it fully. I guess the last thing I need to talk about is Seven Webheads. So Seven Webheads actually disappeared. He does still have his Facebook and he does still look at it, but he doesn't comment. Not to mention the fact of he also did have a blog page, but I can't find it anymore. I forgot what page it was or what website it was, but I can't find it anymore. Luckily, like him, I'm still here. I'm back. I just had some technical difficulties. Him, on the other hand, I don't know what's going on. There was no celebration of saying, oh, I quit YouTube. I did what I wanted to do. Spider-Man is kind of back at Marvel, so I'm done. Not sure what's going on here. He really should come back. Or at least cater to the fans like I do and say, oh, I'm going to be in hiatus, or I am going to be back soon or someday. Instead, it's completely empty. I know it sounds like me just bashing him, but on the other hand, you need to tell the fans what's going on. You can't leave your fans hanging. You can't leave your subscribers just hanging here, waiting, asking where you are. This is not Spider-Man 2. No offense, but yeah, it's not like Spider-Man 2 where Spider-Man is gone and they all asking, where have you been? Where are you? You need to come back. I'm going to web out though. I'm glad to be back. For those who are worried and concerned about me, I'm fine. Just had some technical issues. Hopefully this new editor works perfectly fine, because I had to kind of fix and web up some stuff to make this thing work. So for right now, I have a crappy laptop that's not really working as good as it should. But hopefully, eventually, I'll be able to get the funds to get a brand new one. But again, I'm whipping out. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for staying with me. Thank you guys for actually making some videos, actually getting some popularity. Thank you for that. I don't really say thank you much, but you guys deserve it. Thanks. I'm whipping out. Peace.